Next on the list, we got Tennessee going to T-Town to take on Alabama. And stick around for the end. I have one major stat that should maybe make Vols fans happy, but I think this is a pretty awful spot for Tennessee. I was impressed with how they handled A&M game last week, went with defense, running ball. Really, their ability to change their identity this entire year and be pretty successful, I think, has been great. But now you're going into T-Town against an Alabama team that is playing confident, playing with revenge on the mind, and this is where it gets interesting. You're going to beat Alabama at their own game. This isn't like last year where you had that dynamic offense to take advantage of what was a pretty weak back end for Bama. This is a Tennessee team that wants to win exactly like Alabama does, through running the ball, stopping the run, and pressuring the passer, right? And having a havoc creating front seven. And both teams are very good at it. Both teams are second and third in the league right now when it comes to sacks and TFLs. So this feels like a game where both teams have a pretty good chance of stopping the run. And then it's come down to the quarterbacks. And it's like, okay, against Jalen Milroe and Joe Milton, I will take Jalen Milroe and the big playability instead of Joe Milton's like kind of pitter patter, dink and dunk, despite the rocket arm, just has no explosivity this year. I think it's a bad matchup for Tennessee. I think Alabama wins.
Well, you say playing Alabama's game, but Alabama's not playing Alabama's game this year because they can't run the football. Alabama cannot run the football. This is an offense that wants to attempt to run the football, but all they can do is create explosive plays. That's it. Like Tennessee has been dominant, man. The way they handled A&M last week, like they won. Where the reason why I thought the Aggies were going to win is because I thought the Aggies would win the line of scrimmage. Tennessee won both sides of the line of scrimmage. Their offensive line dominated. They ran for over 200 yards against a defense that wasn't letting anyone run. You know, Alabama was held to under, I think, 80 yards. Miami couldn't run the football. And Tennessee ran up and down the field, especially in the second half. And what does Tennessee do well defensively? Well, they stop the run and they can get after the quarterback. Two things that Alabama has not done well this year. Alabama's not protected Milroe. Alabama's been unable to run the football. So, like, why can't Tennessee make this a game? And it goes to Joe Milton. That's plain and simple. It's Joe Milton. That's it. That is the difference in this game. If Tennessee had a capable quarterback, I think Tennessee could go in and win this football game. Joe has been – go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Joe's been what?
He's been inconsistent. Where I do think Joe can make an impact in this game, we saw a little bit of it last week and kind of help the offense, is running the football. I think Joe's going to have one of those bloody games where he's in absolute pain afterwards because he took it down for 8 to 10 times and got 40 yards on the ground.
So what you're getting at, Aaron, is the exact stat that I was talking about that would buoy Tennessee fans' hopes. So like we said, both teams second and third in the conference when it comes to sacks and TFL. So both teams very good at creating havoc. What about preventing havoc? Well, it ain't a small gap. It is a massive difference. Tennessee is second in the SEC. They've only allowed 9 sacks on the entire year. Alabama is dead last. Jalen Milroe has been sacked 31 times. Tennessee is first in the SEC, only having allowed 23 TFLs. Once again, Alabama is second to last, having allowed 50. So both teams create havoc, but Alabama has allowed triple the amount of sacks and over double the amount of TFLs. So to your point, Tennessee does appear to be better in the trenches.
Yes.
Like they appear to be better in the lines of scrimmage. And so it becomes a question of if Tennessee, like, can Tennessee be better on the line, make up for the big playability of Alabama and being in T-Town? Like those,
your reasoning. If we go back to the Ohio State game, your reasoning of why Penn State can win is because you think they can run the football, regardless of how the quarterback plays. From T-Bob's mouth? If you're on the road, what can you do? If you can run the football, you can win football games. Like, why are you changing your mind now? Because it's Alabama and you're a little scared little bitch of the Crimson Tide? Is that why?
I don't like it when you frame it that way, but
like, what is the real difference here?
Shut the fuck up, Aaron. If I'm being honest, unfortunately, you're probably hitting on something a little true there, right? Maybe I'm a little too close to this thing. Maybe I've suffered at the hands of the Tide so much that I'm Still a little twisted up, but no, okay, but I would say this. The other difference, but yes, unfortunately, some of that is it. But the other difference would be the Milroe to Milton comparison. Like I think Aller and Kyle McCord are way closer than Milroe and Milton, whereas Milroe has been significantly better. Even if he's not great, he's been significantly better than Joe Milton this year. But
I get that, but if you can't protect him, and if you force him to be a quarterback, he will make mistakes. And that's what Tennessee has to do, man. If I'm Tennessee, as long as you don't give up the explosive plays, you got a chance on defense to keep this game.
Because like Texas was better on the line as well, right? But what drove them over the top was them being able to make the big plays.
Yep.
And so it's like, okay, if Tennessee is going to be better on the lines, can they get enough out of Joe Milton to push them across the finish line? And then I guess I'm really just fading Milton here, but it's a good point. I mean,
no, it is. You are, and I think I honestly think when this is all said and done, I do think there has to be a real conversation for Tennessee and Heupel of if Milton goes on the road and has a game that I think a lot of people are expecting to have, which is not good. If that's your crux and what's holding you back from a team that's playing great defensively, that's running the football, you have to look at yourself and say, yeah, man, we appreciate what this kid's done. But, and I'm not at practice. I don't know what Nico's look like, but you have to take into account of do we need to make a change at quarterback? Because that's the big flaw right now for Tennessee. Like, yeah, the receivers aren't as good as they were last year, but Joe has been really bad at times. And not at times, I mean, for the majority of the season, very inaccurate. Can't even hit easy slants. Like the amount of slants that I've seen that have been behind the receiver, and that's easy pitch and catch stuff, T-Bob.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Aaron, I'm just going to call it like it is. I am a little bitch, and I'm choosing Alabama to win here. Even though I do think Tennessee's better on the lines.
I'll still pick Alabama too. And
you're a little bitch as well. I'm glad. No. Just so we're painfully clear.
And for me, the reason why I'm picking Alabama is because it's in Tuscaloosa. Like I think Tennessee makes this a one-score game. I don't think Alabama rolls and wins by double digits. I think the line right now is +9 Tennessee, over unders 49. I think this, just like the first game we talked about, this is going to be a low-scoring game. You have two really good defenses, two offenses that Tennessee knows their identity, but I still don't know if you can score 25 points against Alabama's defense just running the football. And Alabama is a one-trick pony right now. It's shot plays, and that's about it. So
Tennessee +9 here.
Yeah, I kind of like.
And the over/under at 49.
I like Tennessee, and I like the under.
I'm
a big fan of unders this week, and when I'm feeling unders.
Aaron's an undermaster. I will give him that. Like Aaron is an undermaster. All right. So we both think Bama wins in the end, but I think it's going to be close. We think it's going to be closer, maybe what Vegas is saying.